Okay, one more round. Another round of testing. I am at Le Chep, and I'm going to kind of drag this out, honestly. I have to admit, all this testing over and over, and iteration and after iteration, all to make things point and click and codeless for the end user. But man, as the developer, it's a lot of repetition. I got to say that. So I'm dragging it out because actually my goal at the moment is to have an audio file that is in the range of 100 to 200 megabytes because I'm going to do this incrementally. In other words, I'm not going to try some mega long form 1 hour long audio recording video. It's actually from the length of the video that I'm most worried about because I'm now using two tools just to explain. So one is the audio log tool. And so basically I've got my microphone on and I'm recording. And there's no video at the moment. And I could easily, there's lots of options for me to talk and shoot video and shoot my face or whatever. But what I like about the audio log tool is that it has a branded EQ player. So instead of your face, you can just record an audio. You can upload a transparent version of your logo. You can change some settings in terms of how the EQ looks and works. And then you can, once you're done with your audio recording, it saves it and stores it, and then you can get AI. I have it defaulted to Claude, but it doesn't always have to be like that. But anyway, so Claude gets the transcript. Actually, no, I take that back. 11 Labs are the ones that get the transcript, the voice to text, and then that sends over some timestamps, which are helpful in the whole process. Claude steps in now to clean the transcript to make it sort of more readable so that my uhs and things like that are not necessarily transcribed. And then once that's done, you can publish that live, and that's where it picks up the EQ player, and you see your logo pulsing or whatever, however you've set it up with the player. And the cleaned up transcript is there for somebody who wants to read it. So you have an audio log that people can read the transcript. They can watch the little pulsing logo, and it's all a cool little tool. And I'm proud of that one, in part because I invented it. I didn't copy anyone. Now on the other side, I did copy Substack completely. I absolutely adore their both the way that they're handling captioning, the way that it is perfectly synced, and that it highlights the word that you're on at the moment that you're on it. And so I copied that whole flow, including the component where they've got a smart tool that identifies. You take a long form clip, and that's the test that we're running here, or at least an intermediate length test. Hopefully I can push this to the limit as in terms of long form content, and being able to break down long form content at the same level that Substack is doing it. And the trick is to basically try to do most of the processing on your own end. But at the moment, I do have some sort of file uploading going on. And as I said earlier, there's an hour. Sorry, an hour. There was 100 megabyte limit on the file size. I found a really easy way, and I wanted to make sure that I could do this within Studio J so that any user could do that. So as long as you're on the hosted version of Studio J, then you just go to the hosting tools, you open up your cPanel, you open up the multi-PHP ini tool, and that's where you can increase the size of uploads and things like that. And then that deals with any sort of file size issues. You can set the limit to what you're using. So in theory, this should be able to handle really, really long form content. But as I said, we're aiming for an intermediate test, and if it can handle, somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes, where right through to the end, that captioning is getting it on the word right at the last, fifth minute or 10th minute. Then we're in good shape on the synchronization issue, because I did post a quick article because it just seemed like a good point. I'd already sort of summarized all the progress. And this is all in keeping with the sort of build in public, like show people what you're doing. I think it's a great way to go. I'm not really worried about people copying what I'm doing. In fact, I quite like it, because it's well, first, it's a signal to me in terms of that I'm doing something that is of interest to other people. And even if they're not buying it from me, if somebody else is saying, "Oh, I want to build that too," like I said, that's a good signal. And then the other side of that is that if I share the whole workflow, and then somebody goes off and tries to copy it, if they have trouble copying it, or they can't do it as fast as I did originally within and for Studio J, then that's a signal too that the Studio J system is working really well. So here we are, sort of the goal here is we're using two separate modules, the audio log and then the new smart clip. And I'll put the same disclaimer out there. Well, two disclaimers. One is that my logo is using CSS. I jail hacked my own tool to use my cool CSS logo. That's why I created that logo in the first place. And then the other disclaimer is that this smart clip tool is, as I speak, not yet in the module library in the bundle builder at Studio J, but do keep an eye out for that. And I would say at this point, I'm at about 7:30, and that's probably a good duration. Let's see what the raw file size of that is. I could always compress it, but we'll see.